everybody. Welcome to the Cliff Ellis Show, our third edition of the show here as we get into even deeper into the college basketball season. I'm Dave Ackert, your host here at WMBF Sports, and I'm joined here with Cliff Ellis. Cliff, last week we focused a lot on a big road trip coming up for you guys. 4 games in a row. Now we're in the middle of this road trip, or towards the end of it, I guess now. I wanted to start back. Maybe let's start with the App State game. For those who didn't get to watch the game, really close, really good, down to the wire. Losing at the buzzer. What I had it down, 17 lead changes in that game. Before we talk about the ending, I mean, what is that like in a back-and-forth game like that?
A typical App State, Coastal Carolina basketball games, rivalry. Fans get into it. They're familiar with App State. It's intense when you go there. And both teams are good, and it was a back-and-forth battle. Either team, you hate for any team to lose in that situation. Of course, we came out on the short end. We made some great plays down the stretch, but in the end, App State was able to pull it off.
Coming down that final minute, you were down 3. I think it was 61-58. Coaching in scenarios like that, what are you telling the guys?
Well, play every possession because you're getting down to limited possession. We got to make sure we have stops. We got to have stops to get chances to be able to score points. And, you know, we hit a big 3, or we hit a big shot, and, you know, gave ourselves an opportunity. And then we got to have a stop. And they missed a free throw, and we had a chance to do what we had to do and took the lead. You know, Jamar took it to the basket, got fouled, hit 2 free throws, and in that scenario, we set up our defense, and we've used that defense a couple of times at the end of the game, and it's worked. And it worked again. The guy missed the shot, but we had more time on the clock than we've had in previous games. I think 8 seconds or so to go, and the shot was missed, and we missed a block out. One of our kids blocked out, and when the ball was shot, we stood and watched it thinking maybe the clock will go out, but you have to play through the buzzer, and they got the tip in and won the game. It was heartbreaking. Those are heartbreaking losses. I mean, they just kill you. So tough loss, but you have to rebound and bounce back. We won a game against Louisiana in which we were able to kind of steal a game ourselves. So those things kind of will equal itself out. You know, traveling, then we had to immediately travel to Marshall, which, you know, is a very good basketball team.
Try to spin it to a positive note. You mentioned Jamaro coming in big at the end of the game, but having him get 20 points, I think I mentioned that last week. It seems like you guys have someone different getting 15 or 20 every night. Having him step up, knowing the game was close and back and forth the whole time.
Well, it was pivotal. His play was pivotal because he really did some great things down the stretch. And when you send him to the free throw line, he's going to make them. He's 90+%. And that's one thing we do well is shoot free throws. We're one of the top teams in the league, top teams in the country at shooting free throws. We've got to start making threes. Our threes are not going in the way we need them to go in. And the other thing that's hurting us is rebounding. We're losing rebounding battles. Those are all possessions. And if you're out rebounded, and you have more turnovers, then the other team is going to have an advantage, and it's going to be hard to pull games off.
That's actually something I wanted to bring up later. You brought up the free throws. Has that always been something with your teams historically that you practice a lot, or is this team just naturally talented with?
Well, we changed things up this year. We have what we call a free throw ladder where they have to compete every day with regards to that. Shoot 25, and you're kind of playing in a tournament, put some pressure on them. And whoever makes the most out of those 25, you know, goes to the bracket. The bracket goes from top to bottom. If you win, you keep moving up the ladder. If you lose, you keep going down the ladder.
Okay.
It's really helped us.
Yeah, it's brought a little competition into practice.
Right.
It showed, like you said. I think, are you guys over 80%? I think this year.
Yeah, we have been.
Yeah. So something.
Yeah.
Definitely working in practice and showing up in games.
Very positive. Yeah.
All righty. So we talked about the App State game. Like I said, in the middle of a tough road stretch here. We'll talk about the next games and the games to come here after the break, but we'll be right back after this.
The Cliff Ellis Show is sponsored by HTC. Logan Steakhouse, United Bank, Beach Realty, Waccamaw Land and Timber, A&I Fire Restoration, Great Southern Wood, and Britton Law Firm.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
Hand-cut USDA choice beef, expertly butchered by Logan's in-house professionals, and grilled to perfection over mesquite wood fire. Yeah, that's steak done right. Don't want steak? Logan's mesquite flame-grilled, fresh, never-frozen chicken and wild coho salmon are sure to please. Logan's, fresh food, cooked to perfection, just for you.
Waccamaw Land and Timber has been serving the Grand Strand since 1982. The ultimate goal of Waccamaw Land and Timber is to achieve the best interests of both the buyer and the seller. We can handle all of your commercial real estate needs. But if you're just looking for a place to relax, hunt, or fish, the professionals at Waccamaw Land and Timber can find you the perfect recreational property as well. Call 843-449-0441 to discuss your real estate needs with Waccamaw Land and Timber.
Where's Olivia?
Upstairs taking a bath. You think he's cute? He's in 2 of my classes.
Oh, sugar, you're about to have a mess on your hands. Upstairs, you got about 40 gallons of water that's getting ready to destroy your ceilings and your floors.
Olivia, tub, now.
Geez, that was a close one.
Glad to help, honey. But let me tell you, when it comes to those teenage hormones, you are on your own. Trouble doesn't always come with a warning. You can rely on A&I.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Dave Ackert here with Cliff Ellis. We talked about the App State game. We're in the middle of a tough road stretch here for the Chants, the longest of your season to this point, or for the season. This game against Marshall, going into maybe a tough road environment, what was that like playing Marshall for maybe the first time?
It was tough because for the first time we felt like we were really playing on the road. They have a tremendous home court advantage, not in school at the point in time, but had over 9,000 people sell out, and they're into basketball, and they get it, and I think it fires their team up. I thought it was like a 5-possession game. In the end, you play like 140 possessions. We had to start fouling at the end, and that's where the score is, but it was a 5-possession game, and I think that the home court allowed them to do certain things, but they had some huge production out of some players. I mean, this Kinsey kid, number 24, put his name in the NBA draft. We were celebrating here during the summertime, but he pulled himself back out and went back to Marshall. Taylor kid, those are two of the best guards in the league. Add to that the 7-footer who got 20 points and 19 rebounds. Man, I mean, a good team. And Dan he's done a great job. They play the fastest pace of anybody in the league. They shoot within 16 seconds, and you get that home crowd behind them, and they're pumped and they're ready to go. They're one of the premier teams. Without question, they're one of the premier teams in our league. They can beat anybody. They've got a couple of losses, but they can beat anybody.
And you mentioned the fans, that fan base you mentioned. Just I got to go for my first time to visit campus when the football team went.
Right.
An incredible fan base that has some ties to Myrtle Beach. I mean, just vacationing here. And
right.
You had mentioned, we were talking on the break, getting to come down here for the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I mean, what was it like seeing a fan base that's just so into it?
Well, at the hotel, fans would come up and say, we really enjoyed Myrtle Beach. You know, coming down for the bowl, it was really enjoyable. But I've got friends from West Virginia, and So many of the West Virginia people come to Myrtle Beach, and they love their basketball. They love their sports. They love their basketball, and you know that's a tribute to them. They're kind of like Kentucky fans. The basketball is a key sport, number one.
Speaking to your guys in that game, Antonio Day, I think, was a game time decision. Did that affect you guys at all going in, and then having him show up and play well?
Yeah, he got hurt in the Appalachian State game, and he had a contusion, and he didn't play the latter part of the App State game, and it was a game of the day decision. He couldn't practice the day before, but he came out and played, and in the second half, he had a great second half, and helping us come back. But we didn't have Will Akai. We were short with him on this trip because of it's called etiositis, which I don't know much about, but he'd been having some Achilles issues and had some inflammation, especially when we went into the altitude of Appalachian State. His feet, it swelled up like an elephant's ankle, so it was really a tough trip for him.
Oh, wow. So is that maybe one of the reasons Linton Brown had a huge night coming off the bench? I think 3 threes or 9 points from behind the arc.
Yeah. Linton got to play more. We had to play him at the 4 some, which made us a 4-guard lineup. But normally he's a 3 player, and but he was pushed into that action and actually did a good job.
Awesome. And then, like I said, in the middle of this tough road stretch for you, the longest of the season, maybe we'll take a little minute here next to talk about the next 2 games. And no easy challenge again for you. But
we're in the toughest part of our schedule, without question. These 4 road games, they're tough. They're tough. I mean, that's basically, we're starting our season on the road, and we've got a lot of home games when we come back, but we got to try to steal something on this road.
Right, and we'll have a little bit more info on that final home game coming up here in a second, because we're going to need to pack the house. It's been a while since we've seen the shots at home, so I know we're excited for it. But we'll be right back after the break.
Where's Olivia?
Upstairs taking a bath. You think he's cute? He's in 2 of my classes.
Oh, sugar, you're about to have a mess on your hands. Upstairs, you got about 40 gallons of water that's getting ready to destroy your ceilings and your floors.
Olivia, tub, now.
Geez, that was a close one.
Glad to help, honey. But let me tell you, when it comes to those teenage hormones, you are on your own. Trouble doesn't always come with a warning. You can rely on A&I.
For 5-star backyards, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
HTC is here to connect you to the things that matter most in your life. With the area's largest fiber optic network, HTC is here with the fastest speeds to help power your day. Do a little multitasking. Keep the peace. All to help your day run smoother than ever before. See how HTC is here to connect you to your world and take advantage of these great offers today.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Cliff Ellis Show. We're in the middle of a tough stretch here, Coach. 2 games I wanted to talk about. We're traveling to Old Dominion next, and then we're going to Georgia State. 2 tough games. Old Dominion, though, 1-3, same record as you guys in the conference, at least. So what's that going to mean on the road? Maybe both of you trying to get that second win in the season.
Well, a tough trip from the standpoint of, look, we go to Norfolk, Virginia to play a Thursday game. And then we have a Saturday afternoon game in Atlanta, Georgia. So we go to Old Dominion. and we play that game on Thursday night. We get up the next day and leave that morning commercially from Norfolk to Atlanta. And if the flight goes as planned, we're in good shape. But you just at the mercy of the weather. You're at the mercy of a lot of things. These are squeezed in, but both teams are extremely physical teams. Old Dominion has pretty much been on the road for the most part, as us, this particular time of year. But they had a huge win against Georgia Southern, who at the time was undefeated at Georgia Southern. So they're coming off of a great win. And they're led, they've got inside and outside presence. This is a very strong team. I think they're another one of the top tier teams, even though their record may not show it. And then, of course, Georgia State has been a premier team over the last few years. Going to the NCAA tournament last year. They've got players back from that team, and they've got a new coach and a new system, but again, 2 tough games.
So, Coach, finally, 4 games on the road, coming back home on the 19th. What is that going to be like and mean to your team?
Well, we've been gone for so long, and we haven't had our students here since I don't know when, but, for the rest of the season, we should just have a tremendous crowd, students and fans. It should be a great atmosphere. It's very important to our team. But we've got Appalachian State when we come back, which, was just such a hard-fought, gut-wrenching loss at their place by 1. And then we come back and play on Saturday, and then we have a Chicago State that's coming here on Monday. But that's going to prepare us for our conference tournament, because you've got to go in and win 3 or 4 games in a short number of days. So we're using that to prepare us for the tournament. And every game's tough. We just got to take the next one as it comes. But I can tell you we'll be excited about coming back home, because it's been a long time. Is
it almost better or worse to play App State again so quickly? I feel like you always have to play teams in your conference twice, but it almost feels like it was yesterday, and we're rematching a team again already.
Yeah, well, you got to play them at some point, so let's go ahead and play. It really doesn't matter. We just take them as they come. Whatever's next, boom. They know us, we know them, and it's just always hard fought.
So we mentioned the fans coming back here, obviously at home, but maybe just Sunbelt, us nationally in general. Now that football season's over, do you notice a shift in college basketball fans kind of maybe starting to tune in and pay attention a little bit more?
Well, absolutely you do, because you've got there's a lot of excitement when you get to the football bowls and you get to the championships, a lot of build-up, and that carries over. And in the South, college football is it's a mainstay of life, and basketball is important, but now it really gets important to fans, because now you move on to the next one, and you really don't really move on until that one is over with. And now that football is done, I think so much focus will be on college basketball, because now you're in the middle of January, you get to February, and everybody loves March Madness. March Madness is kind of like the college football days. Everybody loves March. We love March. The last 2 years, we've been able to go to the finals of postseason tournament. That's exciting. We've got to pick it up to be able to do that again, but at the same point in time, we've got to continue to play, be the best we can be, get ready for our conference tournament, and take these games one at a time. And another thing about this team is the fact that they have not been able to all be together. We had some players that joined the team mid-December. We had some injuries, and we're going down this stretch where we're getting in the second half of the season, and we've got to do the best we can to finish in the regular season as strong as we can. But the big deal is the conference tournament.
Yeah, it seems that there's almost like 2 shifts in the calendar. Yes. It's that national championship and then the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it's February, March, and it's the best time of the year.
March Madness love it. People love it. I think that March Madness is one of the favorite things for just about any fan.
So exciting times ahead for this season, and we wanted to take a moment and get in touch with some of the players, and we'll talk to 2 of them after the break.
HTC is here to connect you to the things that matter most in your life. With the area's largest fiber optic network, HTC is here with the fastest speeds to help power your day. Do a little multitasking. Keep the peace. All to help your day run smoother than ever before. See how HTC is here to connect you to your world and take advantage of these great offers today.
Another trial, another battle. Where's your strength? Tenacity. What's your history? Fighting for my clients in court. But what sustains me now is working with three of the finest individuals I've ever known. My family. There's power in family. Power for our clients. Fighting for your rights is my family's business.
Britain Law. Hand-cut USDA choice beef. Expertly butchered by Logan's in-house professionals. And grilled to perfection over mesquite wood fire. Yeah, that's steak done right. Don't want steak? Logan's mesquite flame-grilled, fresh, never-frozen chicken and wild coho salmon are sure to please. Logan's, fresh food, cooked to perfection, just for you. The Cliff Ellis Show is sponsored by Britain Law Firm, Great Southern Wood, Waccamaw Land and Timber, Logan Steakhouse, Beach Realty, A&I Fire Restoration, United Bank, HTC.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Cliff Ellis Show. Dave Ackert here, this time joined with Antonio Day. Antonio, I know, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but tough beginning of the season for you, not getting to play. Maybe let's start there. What that was like getting ready for games that you weren't technically ready for.
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. Just just seeing the guys go to war every day and knowing that I could do things to help. It was a big mental challenge for me, but my teammates made it real easy for me, and Coach Ellis and the rest of the staff put me through like in-game workouts and just kind of made it realistic for me and kind of gave me like motivation on while just waiting to play.
And then coming back, your first couple games back, what was that like stepping on the court, I guess?
It was definitely an emotional roller coaster. I was all over the place. It was surreal just to be out there with my teammates again, and being on the road was a little tough for it being my first home game, and then me dislocating my finger. So it was another challenge for my first game back, but in all, it was good. We won, and it was exciting.
And then I've been talking to Coach a lot about how you guys are in the middle of your longest road stretch here of the season. What is that like? I mean, App State, the game, I think it was 17 lead changes, a back and forth game. Obviously, the ball's not falling your way at the very end there, but maybe just walk me through that game.
Oh man, yeah, it's being on the road and just for that long, it's definitely a mental thing. You have to just lock in mentally and just have your body ready, hydrate a lot, and just be, healthy. But it was a tough road game. I feel like it could have went either way, obviously. And it's going to help us in March when we're in the close games in the tournament and we're not at home, the call's not going our way, we're not making shots. So it's just preparing us for later down the season when we need it most.
And then two things, then you guys went to Marshall. I noticed they have one of the best offenses in the country, according to Ken Palm. And then Coach said that their home crowd, even for the students not being around, was really something noteworthy, at least that he mentioned. Maybe a comment on either of those.
Yeah, definitely. Marshall has one of the best fan bases there's to offer. And I was telling my teammates before the game, because Marshall was in my conference at my previous school, so I played them numerous of times. And I told them, like, hey, guys, just be focused and kind of just don't let the crowd get into our head and just do what we do best and let's just play together and be together no matter what. So it was a fun environment to play in, to say the least, but it was definitely tough.
Jeez, wow. And then, so maybe speaking of the whole Sun Belt kind of in general, I noticed everybody at least has one loss. I mean, is this thing kind of still wide open? And
No, absolutely. Even like with Louisiana being the preseason ranked first team, us beating them first game, and then like this conference is really wide open. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of well-coached teams, and guys just all want to compete every night. So it's not really an off night at all against any team.
Wow, awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, and thank you for joining us. And we'll be back with another player. All right, everybody. Dave Ackert here, joined with Henry Abraham on the team. Henry, we talked to Coach about this long road stretch you guys are on. 4 games on the road in a row. 2 tough ones, App State and Marshall. Obviously didn't go your guys' way. Maybe your first kind of thoughts on just that part of the trip so far, and then I'll ask about each game.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot coming into those first 2 games, away games. This is our first road trip as a team, so I think we learned a lot, and we should have split with that series, but hopefully we go 2-0.
With the App State game specifically, I mean, 17 lead changes in that thing. The ball doesn't fall your way at the buzzer practically. What do you guys do as a team in the locker room after something like that when you know you could have won it, but it didn't fall your direction?
We really just, know why it happened, and then we just learn from it and get better.
Is that something you guys talk about, or is it something Coach preaches, or is it almost like leaders take a role on that end, or?
Yeah, so Coach, he wants to say, like, keep your heads up. We fought, and then as players, we kind of look at it and see what could we do differently to win.
And before I go to the Marshall game, you guys get to play App State again already, it seems like. I mean, you have 2 games in between that. But what is that like playing? I mean, you have to play everybody in the Sun Belt practically twice, but it seems like that one's pretty quick. Is there anything that goes into that for you guys?
Well, I look back at, we played South Dakota. We played them, I want to say, like 3 games apart. So I think we got a lot of practice with that, and I think we'll be ready playing them coming up.
Cool. And then the Marshall game, Coach mentioned it was a crazy environment, especially for them not having their students around technically. What was that like playing in a good environment like that, them being in the Sun Belt now, and maybe does that help you guys moving forward?
Yeah, it felt surreal. It was packed there, but I thought we played pretty well.
3 something you practice or something you've always been good at? And then I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, in high school, I was primarily just a 3-point shooter. So.
For the team, you guys are really good at shooting free throws this year. I mean, one of the best in the entire country. I asked Coach about it. Is that something you guys practice or something you guys are naturally gifted at? Is it a little both, or?
A little both, I think, but we practice. After each practice, he makes us shoot like 25 to 50 free throws.
Well, it's working though, I guess, right? Working from behind the arc and at the stripe.
Yeah.
But so with these, looking forward, 2 tough road tests again, and then coming back home. What's it going to be like getting back home on the 19th and getting to play App State again?
Yeah, it will be nice. We haven't had a home game with students for probably a month now, with Thanksgiving break and all that. So it'll be really nice to have the energy back from all the students and just home court advantage again.
Sweet. Well, thank you. Appreciate the time.